So it sounds like there's a request from a partner that you are saying no to. You don't want to be involved in this activity, correct? Then you're getting back to relational agreements and the intention, the agreement, the assumptions, the core values that the two of us share in a committed partnership, and some of the things that we have agreed to going in. And if that's up for renegotiation because one or both of the people have evolved, grown, regressed, however you want to think about it, they've changed in some way and they want to revisit the agreements, that can be really painful. And it can also build a lot of trust and intimacy depending upon what the outcomes are, because it sounds like your role just for you is to get very crystal clear on your preferences, your values, what your yeses are, what your nos are, and what your maybes are. And then your responsibility would be to make that as explicit and clear about you and about the impact that different things would have on you, and to give your partner all of that information in as much detail and as much directness and as much gentleness as possible. And then your partner, in any given situation, would need to take that in, be influenced by it, check in with their own values, assumptions, what it is that they have strong preferences for or not, and they get to make some decisions. And we may or may not like their decision, but we need to know for ourselves, if you decide X, Y, and Z, this is what that will mean to me. This is what I will need to do next. So I get to tell you where my limits and boundaries are and what the if-thens will be for my own self-care and my own sense of integrity. And then I let you be who you need to be. And I need to live with what decisions and choices you're going to make, whoever the you is. And so what I would say to a couple trying to negotiate something like that is take your time. Take your time and do this conversation in small chunks over a long period of time before either of you does anything, because there's a lot of material emerging and there's a lot to figure out. If both people are interested in personal growth, evolution, personal transformation, any of that, if both people are on that kind of journey, there can be a lot of richness in the conversation, especially if you can surface for each person the difference between the strategies that they're sort of getting attached to and the needs that they're trying to meet. So, in situations like this, we have needs for novelty, for adventure, for spontaneity, for exploration, for a certain kind of embodiment and sexual expression. And when they don't match in a committed partnership anymore, that can be a really painful and very frightening time as that couple works it out. Sometimes, and I can't, like you said, like there's a lot in here, there's a lot in situations like this. But sometimes the fantasy of something doesn't need to get acted out for both people to find out what that fantasy is meaning to them and what aspect of themselves they're trying to bring online. And sometimes it does need to get acted out for somebody to work through something that they are working through or looking for. And it would be helpful, I mean, if you need support in a conversation like that, I don't know if you're working with somebody who might be able to support both of you in asking very particular questions that help you think through all of the layers, help each of you think through all of the layers of what a change like this will mean in the structuring of the relationship in the short term and the long term, because it brings up a lot of stuff for people. What we are responsible for, what each of us is responsible for, is getting as aware and conscious as we can of what is driving us. Okay, what is driving the decisions that we're making, the strategies that we're choosing? What are the deep needs that we're trying to get met? And you want to honor those deep needs. Like if it's safety, or if it's integrity, or if it's trust, or if it's adventure or spontaneity, or novelty or discovery, whatever the deep need is that is coming up. It could be freedom and choice. You want to hold on to the need. You want to get yourself very, very grounded in the energy of that need. And then you want to have at least 100 strategies that might meet that need. Because where we can get into traps is when we think, I want this one thing, it has to look like this is the strategy. And then we begin, like a PR campaign for that strategy. And if that's the only strategy that's going to meet these needs, and this is the strategy that I want, that's where conflict really kicks up, right? Because all of our conflict happens at the strategy level, not the need level. So if you can drop an attachment to the strategy and really ground yourself in the deep needs that you're going to bat for, you can stay in a dialogue, a shared power situation with another person, a co-creative conversation for longer. The moment that either person gets very attached to it having to be a particular strategy, that's when things begin to break down.